Welcome to Angel Wings Productions.
Job 1:1 to 22. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed God in their hearts." Thus did Job continually. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Whence comest thou?" Then Satan answered the Lord, and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." And the Lord said unto Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Doth Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face." And the Lord said unto Satan, "Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and there came a messenger unto Job, and said, "The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them, and the Sabeans fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee." While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, "The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee." While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, "The Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee." While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, "Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And, behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee." Then Job arose, and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, "Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Number Job chapter 1, the ultimate test, a deep dive Q, and A, the setup. Meet Job, ancient world success story Q. So who exactly was Job, and why should we care about this ancient guy? A. Job wasn't just any ordinary person. He was basically the ancient world's equivalent of a billionaire philanthropist with a perfect moral record. The text describes him as perfect and upright, which in Hebrew means complete divided by blameless, not sinless, someone who feared God and eschewed evil. Think of him as having both incredible wealth and an impeccable character, a rare combination even today. Q. Just how wealthy was this guy? Give us the numbers. A. Job's portfolio was absolutely staggering for his time. 7,000 sheep, wool and meat empire, 3,000 camels, ancient world's transportation trucks, 500 yoke of oxen, that's 1,000 oxen total, massive agricultural operation, 500 female donkeys breeding stock for more transportation, plus a very great household of servants. The text literally calls him the greatest of all the men of the East. We're talking about someone who was regionally famous for his wealth. Q. What's this about his kids having parties all the time? A. This detail is fascinating. Job's 7 sons had a rotating party schedule. Each brother would host a feast on his day, and they'd invite their 3 sisters. This suggests a close-knit, celebratory family culture. But here's the kicker. Job was so concerned about his children's spiritual state that after each party cycle, he'd get up early and offer burnt offerings for each of them, thinking, maybe they sinned and cursed God in their hearts during the festivities. The cosmic boardroom, when heaven gets interesting. Q. Wait, Satan just shows up in heaven for a meeting? How does that work? A. This scene is absolutely wild when you think about it. The sons of God, likely referring to angelic beings, come to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan just strolls in with them. It's like a cosmic board meeting, and Satan is apparently still allowed in the conference room. The Hebrew word for Satan here means the accuser or the adversary. Q. What's Satan's job description according to this passage? A. Satan describes himself as going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. He's essentially a roving investigator looking for fault and failure. Think of him as heaven's prosecuting attorney, constantly building cases against humanity's faithfulness. Q. Why does God bring up Job? Isn't that like painting a target on the guy's back? A. This is one of the most puzzling aspects of the story. God essentially brags about Job to Satan. Have you considered my servant Job? There's nobody like him on earth. It seems like God is either supremely confident in Job's character or deliberately setting up this cosmic test. The implications are staggering. The challenge. Satan's devastating theory. Q. What exactly is Satan's argument about Job's faith? A. Satan makes a brilliant and cynical psychological argument. Does Job fear God for nothing? His theory is that Job's faithfulness is purely transactional. Satan argues that God has put a protective hedge around Job and blessed everything he touches, so, of course, Job is faithful. Remove the blessings, Satan claims, and Job will curse thee to thy face. Q. What are the terms of this cosmic wager? A. God gives Satan permission to destroy everything Job has, with one crucial limitation: only upon himself put not forth thine hand. Satan can take Job's possessions, his children, his livelihood, everything except Job's life. It's like the ultimate stress test of faith. The catastrophe, when everything falls apart. Q. How does Satan orchestrate Job's destruction? Walk us through the disaster sequence. A. The destruction comes in 4 rapid-fire waves, each delivered by a sole survivor. 1. The Sabians attack. Raiders steal the oxen and donkeys, kill the servants. 2. Fire of God, lightning, or supernatural fire, burns up all the sheep and their shepherds. 3. The Chaldeans raid 3 bands of raiders, steal all the camels, kill more servants. 4. The great wind, a tornado-like storm, destroys the house where all of Job's children are feasting, killing all 10 of them. Q. What's significant about the timing and delivery of this news? A. The phrase, "while he was yet speaking," appears 3 times, showing that these disasters hit almost simultaneously. Each messenger ends with the haunting words, "and I only am escaped alone to tell thee." This creates a drumbeat of devastating news, with no time to process one tragedy before the next arrives. Q. Why do you think the children's death comes last? A. This seems deliberately structured for maximum psychological impact. First, Job loses his livelihood and economic security, then his children, the most precious loss of all. It's a crescendo of grief that would break most people. The response. Job's shocking reaction. Q. How does Job initially respond to losing literally everything? A. Job's response is both deeply human and remarkably spiritual. He performs traditional mourning rituals, tears his robe, shaves his head, falls to the ground, showing he's genuinely grieving. But then he worships and speaks one of the most famous lines in literature. Q. Break down Job's famous statement, "Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." A. This statement is philosophically profound. Naked came I, naked shall I return. Recognition that we enter and leave this world with nothing. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Acknowledgement of God's sovereignty over all circumstances. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Continued worship despite devastating loss. Job essentially argues that since everything was a gift to begin with, God has the right to remove those gifts. Q. The text says, "In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly." What does this mean exactly? A. Job passes the first test with flying colors. He doesn't sin by cursing God, and he doesn't charge God foolishly, meaning he doesn't accuse God of injustice or wrongdoing. Satan's theory appears to be completely wrong, or is it? This is just chapter 1, and Job's testing is far from over. The deeper questions this raises Q. What does this story suggest about the nature of suffering? A. Job chapter 1 introduces the disturbing possibility that sometimes suffering isn't punishment for sin or the result of bad choices. Sometimes it's a test of character that serves purposes we can't see. This challenges simplistic prosperity gospel thinking. Q. How should we understand God's role in this story? A. This is perhaps the most difficult question the passage raises. God permits Satan to destroy Job's life as part of what appears to be a cosmic experiment. This portrayal of God is complex and challenging, neither purely benevolent nor malevolent, but operating according to purposes that transcend human understanding. Q. What does Job's response teach us about faith under pressure? A. Job demonstrates that authentic faith can coexist with genuine grief. He doesn't suppress his emotions or pretend everything is fine, but he also doesn't let his circumstances determine his relationship with God. His worship in the midst of loss suggests a faith that's deeper than mere transaction. This opening chapter sets up what may be literature's greatest exploration of innocent suffering, divine justice, and the nature of faith itself. Job's story has only just begun. If this content is of any help to you, please like and subscribe.